Just looking again at some more logic as to the day he did it, let's say November 14th, I think, keeping in mind it would have been colder. He would be up at elevation. It would get dark like 5:30 or 6. It'd be very dark. So let's look again at some prime search areas as far as distances. Now, the previous month we saw him in the mcave video. Now, we don't know for sure that he went downhill and was maybe hung over or in worse condition. We don't know that, but using the theory, take your own life theory, he probably was in worse condition, not better, but we don't know that. Also, when he went, they won't tell us what he took. For instance, did he take a warm jacket and a tent and supplies? That's very important for a couple of reasons. It shows how far he could have went, and also if he hiked with the intention of doing an actual hike. I propose he would not have had that many supplies, and for that reason, he may have traveled light and made it further distances. So let's look at the distances and where he may have went. Okay, so now there's the mine, and then looking up from the mine, here is I spent the night up there. He thinks. Remember, he wasn't sure. We don't know what to believe. Okay, he said, I spent the night up there somewhere, I think. Now, he referred to this. This is it. This is the actual mountaintop. Well, this mountaintop isn't like in the foreground, such as this one is. Okay, this one here is in the foreground, but this is the actual top of the range. So let's look at it. Now, keep in mind what I said that I went up, I started, at daybreak, and I took it easy, took pictures and stuff, and, almost 3 hours to get there. But I emphasized that uh, I still had hours to work along and go over here, this saddle here, and went over to search area 2 and searched a little bit because by the time I got down from my foray onto this hump here and went down the other side, I knew that basically any searching I would just be heading back. So let's keep this in mind because as far as mindset as to where he could be, it carries great weight that he said, I spent the night up there, I think. So maybe he was wrong about the exact hill, but the point is he pointed up there and said, I spent the night up there. Now that could mean down lower, a little bit. It doesn't mean right here the tippy top and he could have been down out of the wind or whatever. So let's take a look at it. Now keep in mind this would have had to been done with it cold, getting dark, but when he got to the mine and left his phone and coins, he would have had to do this almost immediately. No lollygagging, no taking no naps. So true, is he could have done it, especially with light gear. And if he was in the mindset of taking his own life, who knows? Maybe he dreaded doing it. So keep that in mind. So let's look at the distances. Now there's the picture again. This is I spent the night up there, and so this whole area is of interest. Now the problem is J Chuck has been up there, and so this upload I want to ask how where he looked or not. Uh, but I've seen a couple of his videos that emphasize he has gone up here and been all over the place. So now I ask, how much all over the place? So let's look a little closer. How did it end up doing that? Okay, well, let's get to the bottom of it. You guys didn't have anything better to do anyway. Okay, I spent the night up there. Remember, my backpack is at the mine. That's where I was. I was virtually standing on the mine. I spent the night up there. Okay, now there it is closer. But look at all this. When he said he spent the night up there, it doesn't mean he would have went up and slept right on that rock there next to the cliff, nor does it mean he would be injured from going over and jumping off a 200-foot cliff. He could be all in here. Look at this beautiful area in there. But J. Chuck said he's been all in there. But now factor in now, erase the area that would be the most obvious. Like we look with the human eye and in our minds and we go, look at those nice fields of grass and trees over here and camp spots and stuff like that. Well, that may be where he spent the night, but that wouldn't be where he was because he said, you'll never find me. But this is a critical location, but he would be where he wouldn't be seen easily. It could be up here. It could be over here, up here behind these rocks, whatever. You get the point. In other words, he wouldn't be right here in this field, or waiting to be found. J. Chuck would have found him. Okay, now let's look at Google Earth and what it looks like and other options. Now, if he would have went up there, okay, true, he had limited time. Okay, but would he have been facing the darkness or the sunset? If he was here somewhere and facing the sunset for the final moments, that's an option. But what would his mindset have been? I've often said that he would have went over to face the lights. He would have been looking out at the lights of Las Vegas. So there's an option. So let's look at that. Let's look at Google Earth. Okay, here is I spent the night up there. Now look at the distances. Look at the hiking distances. That's a long, hard climb to go up there before dark. But it's not impossible because it carries a lot of weight that he said I spent the night up there. But that could mean down here or wherever. But that's a lot of distance on a cold get dark at 5 o'clock November afternoon. Okay, now what about this? That I theorize if he went up there, that he could have went over just barely over the edge to look out. He would have seen the city. Here's what the city would have looked like. See that? Look at the view of that city. Sure, there could have been parts cut off by the mountains here, but he would have looked out and been able to see the city. Well, in that case, he could have come down here and worked down to be in full view or worked over here and went up to here. In other words, this is the east theory that he went over the top as opposed to uh, looking out at the sunset. So this would be the sunset, view the sunset theory, somewhere over here, up in here, whatever. So this would be the look out at the lights. Okay, I know it's a harsh thing to discuss, but you have to put yourself in a mindset of where would he have gone, especially saying that you'll never find me. Okay, so now this is the east side theory. Keeping in mind, this means it's dark now, very definitely dark, and he's tired as hell. And go over, I want to face the city and over on the east side. But let's look at that. Okay, here's what it would look like on the east side, because J. Chuck has mentioned it too. Okay, this is the east side theory. So he comes over here, does all this, or comes down here, wants to go to the side so that he's never found, maybe in here, over here, and then among trees, whatever. Okay, so that's the east side theory. Okay, but now keep in mind the distances to do all this as to how far he went and where he could be. Look at these distances. There he parks. There he parks. And that's a slog to go up to the mine up there. It's a slog for anybody. Don't let anybody fool you. Nobody waltzes up there. Only J. Chuck can go jogging up there and jog down and go 20 miles. Nobody else can. Okay, so keep this in mind. This has to be done. He texted about 6. How do we know if he texted from the parking at 6 and he started out at 6:15? They won't tell us. How do we know when that text was? They said 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. I forget right now, but I'm not even sure if it was the previous night. The previous night was I hug you and don't do a Robin Williams on me. Okay, so we don't know when he started. Okay, but still he has to go up to 4 miles. Okay, to his what would become his mind. Look at these distances. Look at the distances. And now to go up, I spent the night. Look at the distance going up the side of that goddamn mountain. Okay, that's why I sort of ruled it out, except that it carries a lot of weight that he said I spent the night up there. I mean, maybe he had adrenaline going that of what he was planning, and he didn't have any supplies and just beelined it up there. But there you go. There's some more thoughts. So the question is that, like to Jay Chuck, how much did he canvass this area? But there again, if he said they'll never find me, it could be right here, right in these trees. That's all he has to do. What about these? What about those trees? As Jay Chuck looked in there, maybe that's the spot. I don't know, but a team of people could go up there, and to go through these trees and look over here, maybe down into here, that's a day or two right there. So you get the point. So keep in mind the distances of his hiking on that cold November day with it getting dark at 5.